And we're on.
And we're on with Late Night from Willowdale, back in my apartment. We're not at Woody's, so a lot of you people did not like the videos from Woody's. We're back in my apartment. Those videos from Woody's, they were just a time and a place, and there's nothing wrong with doing. I know a lot of you didn't like it, but there's nothing wrong with doing a video from a gay bar that represents tolerance and acceptance and human rights, and we
next door to a strip joint too.
Woody's is not a strip joint. It's just a great bar in the gay village. Been there since 1989, and we did a video on Halloween night. Totally appropriate to do it from Woody's because Halloween.
But you got complaints.
We got complaints. Halloween is in this day and age, everybody in Toronto wants to be on Church Street on Halloween night. But as Chris and I grew up in this city, back when we were kids, gay people were persecuted on Halloween night. Eggs were thrown at them.
That wasn't the video they were talking about, though.
No, but
okay.
Then we moved.
Sorry, excuse me.
Our Halloween video was about tolerance and acceptance and how everybody wants to be on Church Street on Halloween night and how times have totally changed in our city. From throwing eggs at gay people to celebrating gay life and tolerance and acceptance.
And then you did another one later.
Right. And then we did one a couple of weeks later about when just after Trump was in Paris and insulted all these people and didn't go to the cemetery because he didn't want to get his hair wet.
But you got complaints about that.
Yeah, because we were talking about
shot in a gay bar.
Yeah, because we're talking about nationalism. And I was saying that I don't think it's the threat that it was in the 1930s. And
were the complaints about what you're talking about, or the complaints about
the gay bar? It was about the gay bar.
We were in a gay bar, and some people thought it was a strip joint. There was music and there was lights, and didn't like the venue. About talking about a serious issue, and actually talking about extreme nationalism and nuttiness in a gay bar I think is totally appropriate. But if some of you didn't like it, that's fine.
But you got more views on that than any other video.
Yeah, I don't.
Yes, we got way more views.
How do you explain that?
I don't know.
People love to hate it.
Yeah, Woody's is a great place to do a video.
Are those your notes?
Those are my notes. So now we're back in my crazy apartment with all the books and everything, and I got Chris here. Chris and I have known each other 25 years this fall. 25 years, man.
Almost
1993.
half my life.
Half your life. We did a radio show at U of T together at CIUT for 10 years. So we're doing this video together, and hold
the teleprompter up. I can't read that.
Yeah, I put some notes about stuff I want to talk about. So
Yemen,
Black Friday,
Saudi Israelia. Oh, Black Friday.
Right. The hatred of Iran. Okay, so we're gonna try and do this in about 10 minutes. Okay, let's start off with what's current. Crazy Stupidity Friday. Stupidity Friday, right?
Followed by Crazy Monday.
I understand people want sales and everybody wants to get $1 or $2 off. I get it. But the craziness of Stupidity Friday is...
Well, this is new in Canada. This is imported from the States.
This is a crazy American holiday imported into Canada. And in the U.S. there's violence and stabbings, and there was yesterday.
But we don't have a holiday on Friday.
Yeah, I know.
They do, but we don't.
Yeah.
So why are we...
And this rampant consumerism is just nuts. And, I'm not a fan of the Christmas season.
Plastic, the whale?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the whale. Okay. I'm going to show you that article. I'm not a fan of the Christmas season because I think it's... as an adult, I understand for kids and stuff. Hey, I'm still a kid, right? Look at I got Lego, I got rockets and Lego and all that. I'm still a kid. But this buying gifts for people who don't need them, spending money that you don't have, the pressure to spend money that you don't have to buy gifts for people who don't need them.
Friday was Buy Nothing Day. You know that, right?
Was that by... Oh, and we've got Adbusters poster child here, Chris, because he was a poster child for Adbusters. And Buy Nothing Day, and I've put that in letters to the editor, Buy Nothing. And that's, you're, the Grease campaign with McDonald's. Chris saying...
Well, coincides with Black Friday, that's the point.
And I didn't even know that, Chris. Buy nothing. What do people need? Like I was just saying to Chris tonight, do you need any shirts? I got lots of extra shirts. I generally give them to shelters, but I have a bunch of extra shirts.
There's coupons you can give to your relatives at Christmas and friends that absolve the recipient from having to buy gifts for that person the following year.
Exactly.
So that's
perfect.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone gets stressed out at Christmas because they have to buy gifts for people who don't need them. They spend money they don't have, and it's silly. And then there's all the excess packaging. I think Christmas, I've often said it, is an environmental crime. In many ways, I think Christmas is a criminal offense. People will say, you're nuts. But really, when you think about
the amount of garbage, yeah.
Yeah, the amount of garbage. So that takes me to the first thing about, in the New York,
Okay, here,
plastic junk found in dead whale in Indonesia. Plastic junk found in dead whale in Indonesia.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris. Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Yes. Okay, yes, we see it. Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right. So this whale washes up in Indonesia and it's full of plastic junk. And that's packaging from Christmas, okay? That's packaging from Christmas. The plastic we throw into the oceans. Plastic water bottles. Plastic packaging. It all landfill. Some goes in landfill. A lot of it ends up in the ocean.
Okay, what else?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Try to be very careful on during Christmas. Don't buy crap for people that don't eat it, and don't.
I put plastic bags in the garbage can. Is that bad? Like, I mean,
well,
where was I going to put my?
This plastic.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
Chris is right. We got to move.
I leave my packaging at the store where I buy it. I have them deal with it. I'm not going to take it home.
Yeah. So we don't need all this packaging, and don't buy crap for people who don't eat it. Okay, move on. Yeah. So
gift cards are nice. Simple.
Simple, and and hopefully people use them. Okay, so let's go on to let's go on.
Yemen.
Let's go on to the other big issue of the day, Saudi Israelia.
The climate change that isn't happening. Obviously,
climate change
are obviously wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the big headline here.
Trump said so.
U.S. Okay, this is New York Times today.
God.
U.S. climate study has grim warning of economic risks.
Okay, thank you.
I do lighting as well.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay,
Trump
so what do we?
Okay,
okay, perfect. Okay.
Trump thought the recent cold snap that we've all experienced in Eastern North America. He says, where's the global warming? Trump doesn't realize the science. When the Arctic warms, cold air is pushed. And now Eastern North America is particularly vulnerable. That's why we get these polar vortexes. We have a colder climate in Toronto now than Winnipeg. Because we get...
Wait. What is a polar vortex?
It's the U.S. name for cold weather.
Cold weather.
Okay.
Everyone's watched Day After Tomorrow, that movie Day After Tomorrow.
The jet stream does this sort of roller coaster, but with climate change, it's more pronounced. Now it's more extreme up and down. So it reaches,
the amplitude.
So now you got places like Texas getting really cold.
Yeah, it doesn't... It's a narrow strip that generally hits in Eastern North America, so even northern Florida gets very cold. We're getting colder temperatures now in Toronto than they have in Winnipeg, because this polar vortex tends to be quite narrow, and it tends to hit Eastern North America.
So because we had a few days of a really intense cold snap, global warming obviously isn't happening according to Trump.
Right.
They're trying to blame the fires on environmentalists saying that you can't cut any trees for forest management.
Right.
You can't take away.
He's blaming it on the fact that Californians don't rake.
Yeah.
They don't rake enough in California.
That's the reason why. Yeah, but it's sad.
It's sad. It's so pathetic. It's so sad. What's happening in California? What's happened in British Columbia this summer? The extreme heat we had in Eastern North America again is due to climate change. And I'm not an eco freak.
Japan has had the first heat wave they've ever had.
Right, and they've had severe storms.
Greece had those fires.
Yeah, totally.
Spain had those fires. So obviously something's happening.
The climate is changing, and I'm not an eco freak. Anyone who watches those videos knows I'm not. But I know the climate is changing, and I think we've over the tipping point, Chris. I think it's over. Frankly, I just don't think anything.
Even if we stop producing like any CO2 emissions tomorrow, it would take about 50 to 80 years for any notice to take.
Isn't there something like there's a certain unit of carbon that's in the atmosphere that's never going to change? Like we've hit that threshold where no matter even if we institute policy against it, it'll just never
it's a cascade. It's reached a point of no return.
Exactly. Yes. Like I think we're kind of hearing about
Well, I remember this past
Yeah.
summer was so uncomfortably, unbearably hot. I can't imagine.
You couldn't even sit in this apartment in August. It was so hot.
Right.
Okay.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like 10 years from now. So
Yeah.
because that's.
No, we haven't done 10 minutes.
Oh, we have a caller.
Really? Okay.
We have a caller. Oh, right, that's the alarm. We should
okay,
stop.
We're gonna go another 5-6 minutes. So lots to talk
So
about.
it's a good segue to Alberta oil.
Yeah. So okay. So let's go now. We'll go to Saudi Israelia.
Trudeau was in Alberta. He got a really bad reception. There's a lot of 600 people protesting him, but I don't know why they're protesting against him, other than the fact that he's liberal and they're mostly conservative. Because Trudeau has nothing to do with the price of oil, which is set by OPEC, and he has nothing to do with the pipeline, which was stopped because the Supreme Court of Canada stopped it. Because there weren't good enough consultations with the people whose land it would be going across, and
He also didn't say a whole lot, right? Like, I mean, about anything,
there's
really.
not much he could say. It's out of his hands. I don't see why
Chris-
they're blaming Trudeau for it.
And
He's
you've
Prime
hit it-
Minister, though.
Chris
I mean-
has hit it on the nail. No. Trudeau's done everything to get that pipeline through to that. It's not a new pipeline. It's a doubling up of an existing pipeline.
Pipeline already exists. They just want a second bigger
Right,
one.
right.
So
It's been there since 1953.
But didn't it come with like a whole bunch of like regulations around it as well? Like in terms of like
the new one will, yeah.
yeah, like in terms of like port regulations and like what oil spills should be.
No, all this was done.
But I mean, when the deal got squashed, like I mean, all that shit went away with it, right? Like I mean,
No, the natives weren't given proper consultation, and so for that reason, the Supreme Court agreed with the natives, and they said that you have to go back to the drawing board. You have to really consult with people and find out what they really want and don't want. And also, the big oil companies in Alberta keep overproducing oil, which also keeps the price down, and that's one of their biggest complaints is the low price of oil. But the oil companies in Alberta aren't doing themselves any favor by overproducing.
The bottom line is Chris is...
Again, it has nothing to do with Trudeau.
No, Trudeau has done nothing wrong here. He bought a pipeline to try to get it through. He bought a pipeline. That movie about Matt Damon, I Bought a Zoo. Trudeau bought a pipeline. And, yes, Chris is right. All these people in Calgary protesting. Why are they protesting him? He's wanting to get Alberta oil to Tidewater. But he can't do anything about it. The courts have ruled against him. The government of British Columbia is against it. This is not China. You can't just ram the stuff through. Canada's a messy democracy. And in a messy democracy, these are problems. I agree. I think Canadians are totally conflicted on this. Obviously, we've seen this in Ontario, Chris, with the Green Energy Act. A lot of Canadians didn't want windmill farms. A lot of Ontarians didn't want windmill farms. They didn't want solar installations. Like, I always say to Canada, what do you want? Like, we still need oil, Chris. Planes still rely on oil.
nah, we don't.
Yeah. We still need oil. We still need oil.
We need
As long
windmills,
as Ford
too.
keeps ripping windmills out of the ground, we're going to need more oil.
Right. So exactly. Ontarians rejected the Green Energy Act. They elected this whack job Ford. And so what Ontarians want? Like, you still need energy. We still need to heat this apartment. We still, not everything's going to go solar. What do Canadians want? They don't want oil. They don't want oil pipelines. They don't want windmill farms. Like, come on, Canada, get a grip. And I agree with you.
Saudi Arabia or Israelia.
That's me. We have to move. But Canadians, get a grip. Like one doubling up of a pipeline from Alberta to southern British Columbia is not the end of the world. Now let's. And you're totally right. Trudeau has done nothing wrong here. He's tried to get it done.
But in Alberta, they love to hate Trudeau.
Yeah.
Because
So
he's
Jason
liberal and
Kennedy
Trudeau.
will be elected the next premier, probably, and he can't do anything about it either. So.
And then Andrew Scheer, the Prime Minister, right?
Yeah, and Andrew Scheer can't do anything about it. It's just that Canada's a messy democracy. And look at Keystone. The United States has blocked Keystone. Courts in the U.S. has blocked Keystone. So the U.S. is a messy democracy. This isn't China where you can just ram this stuff through. Okay, so we got to go to Saudi Israelia. So let's talk about Saudi Israelia. This is Saudi Israelia.
That's Yemen,
That's
though.
Yemen and descended kids in Yemen. And let's look at...
Oh, okay.
you
Yeah,
wanna see
we
that?
better lighting, yes.
People should
Okay.
look at that. In New York Times Magazine a few weeks ago. Great
Okay,
article.
perfect.
Look it up online.
Okay,
by Robert
perfect.
Worth.
Oops.
So yeah, what did it say? Trump stands with Saudi's murder of Khashoggi.
You have to hold it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
There
to
you
look
go.
at
Yeah,
that.
I see. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
And let's look at this headline in the New York Times. We're using New York Times because that's the paper I read. And I'm going to show you a nasty headline that was in the same paper as the Indonesia thing. It's okay. We're going a little long in this video. That's fine. Oh, yeah. 85,000 Yemeni children have died of hunger because of this conflict.
Okay.
Largely
Yeah,
is a
perfect.
Saudi
Perfect. You know,
American-
that lighting really
a
helps
Saudi
actually.
American
Because of, yes, please.
effort. Okay,
Okay.
a Saudi American effort. Okay, so let's go to Saudi Israelia, and we call it Saudi Israelia because Israel and the Saudis are in cahoots.
But it's not Saudi Israelia. They're in cahoots with it. It's the Sunni religion.
Well,
And Iran is Shia.
right,
And so they're opposed. They're enemies.
right. So let's look at this.
That's the only reason Trump is against Iran is because he's with Saudi Israel.
Saudi Israelia. Okay, let's look at this rationally.
Well, you know, Rouhani just basically called for all Muslims around the world to stand up against the U.S., right? Just recently, like 2 minutes ago.
Okay, have you ever seen interviews with Rouhani, the president of Iran? He's very bright. He's solid. He has a good sense of the world. He said, you know,
Of course, because they're imposing sanctions for no good reason.
right. This hatred of Iran is. I've said this in many videos, and I said this in a letter in the New York Times about a month ago. This hatred of Iran is totally irrational. It's not based on any
But
facts.
then they start hating Iran even before the Iranian Revolution,
No,
though. Like, I mean,
no.
yeah, because the Shah actually imposed not OPEC, but like oil prices that went up,
They
and
opposed the Shah, and there was a lot of
there was
connections with the
like
US.
relations under a less than Islamic rule was actually souring, right?
This relations with 53, the U.S. and the Brits overthrew the Masada government, right? Which was a very democratic government. A lot of Iranians liked it, and the Americans and the Brits overthrew it in 1953. It's a nasty relationship. But the hatred towards Iran goes back to the Iran hostage crisis of 78, 79, and the overthrow of the Shah. It's not rational. I swear to you, okay.
89?
79.
79,
yeah.
okay.
79.
So it's been, 40
yeah.
years? You think they would have...
Saudi Arabia is a national security threat to the United States. So is Israel. These countries have never been national security allies of the United States. They've always been national security threats, okay? Iran could actually be a national security ally of the United States if the Americans would just get some grip, because Iran can help solve problems in Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq. They have so much influence. And
what do you do with
they
those pesky
also
Russians,
have
though?
a lot of positive influence because most countries in the region hate Israel and they hate Saudi Arabia. And if they got over their hatred of Iran, a lot of these issues could be solved.
So why is Saudi Arabia going to war in Yemen?
Because they think it's a proxy war with Iran.
Yeah, they think it's a proxy war with Iran, and yet Iranian influence in Yemen is there, no question.
But the Houthis have their own
They
deal
support the
going on.
Houthis.
Does Israel IDF have any part in the war in Yemen? Directly
Who
or
knows?
indirectly?
We don't know of any.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Saudis and the Israelis have an alliance in terms of their hatred of Iran. Okay, they have the security alliance. The fact that I said in a previous video why Saudi hasn't come out of the closet and supported Israel, I'll never know. I mean, they're one country. They're national security states.
Well, they can't risk it. It would look bad in front of the Pan Arabia that they're supporting Israel, which has the occupation.
But yeah, what I'm trying to say is the United States would be much better cutting relations with Saudi Arabia and Israel. Obviously, Israel is basically an American state, so that's not going to happen. But
I think it's more
it's
because
warming up relations with Iran, because Iran could actually help in dealing with the region's problems, whereas Saudi Arabia is hated by most.
Well, the Iranians would have to forget about Israel, right?
Yeah.
They'd have to forget about Hezbollah and like all this. Yeah.
And that brings us to the whole issue of what happened in Pittsburgh and the anti-Semitism going on in the U.S.
The
which is,
pro-necklace.
shooting at
the Pittsburgh synagogue
shooting.
and the hatred and the anti-Semitic stuff rising in the U.S. And that brings us to a whole issue of culture and a lot of Israel's a divided country. Okay, like it's a very divided country. It's a country at war with itself in many ways. You look, there are a lot of a lot of refugees. Many are Jewish who came to Israel from Africa. The Israelis want to get rid of them. Canada wanted to accept a lot of them. And because it would look bad on Israel to have refugees from Israel going to Canada, they squashed the deal. A lot of these people are going to go back to Africa and probably be killed.
So Israel was prepared to send their, quote, rejects to Canada, but because that would make them look bad, they just instead sent them back to Africa to certain death.
Right, exactly. And it goes to show Israel is a country at war with itself, and it's also the Jewish community is at war with itself in the United States. The reaction to the Pittsburgh shootings, the synagogue shootings in Pittsburgh, was a good chunk of the Jewish community thought, yes, Trump is an anti-Semite, Trump doesn't like Jews, Trump, he's a racist, but he supports Israel. And we will support him because he supports Israel. And we don't give a damn about synagogue shootings. And this happened, there was a piece in the New York Times about this Hollywood producer who got up after Pittsburgh and said to a gathering of Jewish people in L.A., Hollywood types who are Jewish, and got up and said, this is horrible, we got to stop this, we got to stop Trump. And people got angry. They said, no, they all started saying pro-Israel, Trump is great for Israel, we love Israel, Trump is great for Israel. And they took the mic away from him.
So these Jews are for the shooting at the synagogue.
They don't mind the rise in anti-Semitism as long as Trump keeps supporting Israel. It's a weird dichotomy. Israel trumps everything. It even trumps the rise of anti-Semitism for many American Jews. It's weird. There's a war within Israel. There's a war within the Jewish community in the United States, and the fact that this guy, producer in Hollywood, got up to condemn Trump, was basically pushed off stage by people chanting pro-Trump, pro-Israel stuff, and
Because was the synagogue shooter pro-Trump?
Yeah, he was very pro-Trump.
Yes,
I think
so, yes.
Okay, let's. This is way overdue, but so much to talk about, right? This is a serious video. We didn't do it at Woody's, and we never have Chris with us.
No strippers around, so.
So we're talking about religious wars, or the war within the Jewish community in Israel, war within the Jewish community in the United States, and we talked about pipelines, right? So I think we're good. The last topic is the crazy guy who went.
Trump.
No, the guy that went to the.
The Andaman Islands.
Oh, I got to talk about Afghanistan. Trump said something interesting the other day in his crazy speech to troops from Mar-a-Lago. Trump hasn't visited the troops, right? He just calls them from his golf course because he's too scared. He doesn't want to get his hair get wet, or he doesn't want to.
Right.
Yeah. So this is it. Afghan leader confirms more than 28,000 military deaths since 2015. These are Afghan troops.
Perfect.
You have to turn it to the...
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Right.
Okay.
And Cleve and I have done a video on this, the war without end in Afghanistan. The United States' longest war, Chris. Longest war.
Wow.
Vietnam was short compared to this.
Wow.
They've been in Afghanistan since 2001. And
I didn't know
thousands of Afghan troops have died, 28,000. Thousands of Americans have died, right? Canada lost 150, right? 58, 158.
I thought it was like 60 or something.
No, 158 Canadian kids died in Afghanistan. Okay, Trump said something interesting. He said, the Taliban are rugged, they're tough, and he basically said we can't beat them. I thought, that just got missed in the media. Trump was recognizing a reality. We're not going to defeat the Taliban, okay? They're not. Afghans, I'm sorry, they're a very tribal society. Come on, the Great Game, right? The Brits, the Russians in the 19th century. No one can beat the Afghans. They're a very tribal society. And that's a perfect segue into, yes, maybe it's time just to leave and let them sort it out. I'm sorry, they're not feminists like Pierre. What's that guy? What's our prime minister? Justin Trudeau, the feminist?
Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau, that's our prime minister.
Most Afghans are not feminists like Justin Bieber Trudeau. I'm sorry, we're not going to...
Why are the Americans there anyways, ostensibly?
Yeah.
Why?
They were there as a retaliation of 9/11, but they should have made it Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Because most of the hijackers came from Saudi Israelia. You know what I mean? Right.
Misguided anger.
So let's go to the final. I know this has gone 20 minutes, but this is a good talking point.
Almost half an hour.
24 minutes.
20, how much?
24.
24. I'm sorry, guys.
What's the last item?
last item goes back to you can't change people.
Yeah.
So this whack job American Christian Chris.
Okay.
Highlight that one.
Okay. Yes.
Tribe that killed American has
aim
history.
it at the camera.
Yes. Oh, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
You have to aim it at the camera.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
That's our last New York Times piece.
Okay. I see it. Okay.
So this guy, this Christian fundamentalist, goes to this island in the Bay of Bengal, the Andaman Sea, whatever.
One of the last untouched tribes,
right, in the planet Earth, to try to teach Christianity to them, and he gets killed.
He went with the Bible. They shot arrows at him. Went right through the Bible. He came back another time. My name is so and so, and I'm here because Jesus Christ loves you.
But I think it's important to mention that it's not just the Christian guy. I think this tribe is hostile to like pretty much fishermen that drift in.
No.
Some fishermen washed up there. They got lost or stranded.
This is not just about Christian. This is two issues. Leave them alone, and Christians, please stay home. Stop preaching. Come on. This isn't 2018. All right. Just leave them alone. So that goes back to Afghanistan. At some point, you just got to leave them alone. The Afghans got to solve their own problems. And if they want the Taliban in power, they obviously do, because a lot of the Afghan people are very sympathetic to the Taliban. So at some point, we can't do anything about it. Yes, maybe Afghanistan.
Should we give them the internet though?
Well, the world, yes, they're going to change. Obviously, the world has changed. They will get the internet. A lot of
people are saying he got what he deserved.
Right. So let the Afghans deal with their own problems and leave them alone. It's a very tribal society still in Afghanistan. Yes, they are more subject to Western influences than this island in the Bay of Bengal.
What's the island called?
Sentinel, which is a very English. Yeah.
It's the Brits.
It sounds very English for some reason.
Obviously the Brits ruled this part of the world.
So basically,
they want to be left alone. They're still a hunting and gathering society. And someone said, well, we got to bring modernity to them. So, Chris, what is modernity? Black Friday, Trump, Ford, iPhones, pollution.
Well, not killing each other is a good one.
Over plastics, plastics ending up in whales. Like, what's modernity? Like climate. Come on, they're already going to be subject to modernity because their island's going to be swallowed up by water, basically.
Yeah.
Hating white people and Italians, that's modernity.
But who the hell are these fundamentalist American Christians thinking they can go around the world spreading
North Korea?
No, but I mean the Africans, there's African evangelicals coming into the UK trying to convert white people back to Christianity, right? From Uganda and from other African countries. I mean, they're doing it.
Chickens are coming home to roost.
Exactly. You know what?
I mean, what about Asia Bibi, right? Like, I mean,
this guy seemed like an innocent. He's like a whack job, and I'm sorry he died.
Naive white people.
He's a naive. He didn't seem like an evil person. He
not in the UK.
He's obviously a bit of but clearly a whack job. And I'm sorry, don't spread Christianity. Stop trying to all you crazy people who want to spread Christianity. Let people live their own lives.
Now that more Americans are made aware of this untouched tribe and how they haven't found Jesus Christ in their hearts, there's probably going to be a push now, even more so, for people from the States to go over there and invade them and preach the Bible to them.
Yeah, you never know what the backlash will be to this because they can't
get his body back and all, buried on the beach. So.
But I'm saying, good for you people. I'm sorry this American got killed, but good for you people to try to protect your culture, I
don't think they're protecting their culture.
And you probably live far better lives than all these crazy people.
It's like going into the jungle to try to tame a wild tiger or something like that. Yeah. It's going to kill you, or a bear or something. So
these people are civilized. They have a very basic existence. They're very civilized. They seem to get along. They're not going into Walmarts and shooting people on Black Friday or whatever crazy Americans did yesterday.
They're just extremely xenophobic. That's all.
Stabbing, shooting,
okay, Chris, this is how we're going to leave this video. These people want to be left alone in their. It's not even primitive. It's actually kind of an intelligent existence. It's a very basic existence.
Yeah, but what about trade? What about bananas and Yeah.
These people are far better than nuts who go on Black Friday and start shooting each other to get $10 off on a fucking
Flat screen
I don't want
TV.
to. Yeah, sorry.
$10 off. Well, that 20% off,
20%
basically.
off.
I mean,
Some
Can you get
stupid flat
40%?
40%.
40% off.
A whole flat screen TV. These people should be celebrated. They're heroes. North Sentinel Island. They should be celebrated.
Leave Brittany alone.
Leave us alone. Exactly. That's a good way to end it. Chris, you have the last two thoughts on our video. Because we have
Leave Brittany alone.
Brittany?
Leave Brittany alone. You don't know that meme?
Okay. Well, I'll
Okay, you know what? It sounds familiar. I'll rewatch this video, but okay.
All right. Sorry, we're almost at half an hour, but this is not a bad video, and we won't do another video from Woody's for a long time. So
Okay.
it was nice
Google it.
Nice to have Chris with us and talk about
Google it. Look it up yourself, bitch.
Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers. Tutti a tavola, a mangiare.